The first indication of familial jealousy rarely arrives as a dramatic betrayal or explosive confrontation. Instead, it emerges through subtle patterns, the kind you initially dismiss or rationalize. A relative who once enthusiastically celebrated your victories suddenly becomes noticeably silent. Compliments morph into veiled comparisons. Their jokes carry an edge sharp enough to wound. They reach out only when seeking information, never to offer genuine supplication for your well-being. During family gatherings, you observe their visible discomfort when others praise your accomplishments. They scrutinize your blessings with forensic attention while withholding congratulations. Your good news is systematically downplayed. Your mistakes are amplified as though life were a competition with scorekeeping. A part of you manufactures excuses. Perhaps they're exhausted. Maybe I misunderstood. I'm probably overthinking this. Yet deep within your consciousness, you recognize the truth. You're experiencing something authentic, something Allah is quietly revealing to your aware heart. There comes a pivotal moment when Allah allows the veil to fall, and you finally perceive what was previously obscured. The uncomfortable truth crystallizes. They don't genuinely desire good for you, because they cannot reconcile themselves with what Allah has granted you. Here's the reality many hesitate to acknowledge. Jealousy within families is neither rare nor insignificant. In Islamic understanding, it represents a spiritual disease of fundamental dissatisfaction with Allah's divine decree. Allah declares in Surah An-Nisa 454, "Or do they envy people for what Allah has given them of His bounty?" This verse doesn't reference strangers. It addresses any heart that resents the blessings Allah places upon another. When such a heart exists within your family structure, Allah doesn't shame you for the pain you feel. Instead, He reveals the signs early, preventing you from remaining blind to harm that would eventually devastate you. The principle is straightforward. What someone conceals in their chest, Allah sees with perfect clarity. And Allah will never permit you to remain close to a heart that secretly wishes your blessings would disappear. Eventually, you recognize that a certain relative no longer feels emotionally safe, not because of dramatic declarations, but because every interaction carries disproportionate heaviness. You share good news. They respond with comparison. You mention a blessing. They reference someone who has more. You express gratitude. They identify flaws. Initially, you attribute this to personality quirks. But personalities don't trigger chest tightness before phone calls. Personalities don't require you to mentally rehearse conversations. Personalities don't leave you emotionally depleted after 5-minute exchanges. What drains you is the subconscious knowledge that they fundamentally dislike when Allah grants you something beneficial. Jealousy never remains permanently hidden. It infiltrates tone, conversations, and even silence. An envious relative will make you feel guilty for being blessed. They'll make your happiness seem excessive, your progress threatening, rather than celebratory. This is where Allah's protection quietly initiates. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Souls are like conscripted soldiers. Those whom they recognize, they get along with. And those whom they do not recognize, they will disagree with." So Muslim, your heart instinctively recognizes who benefits your spiritual well-being and who compromises it. Even when your rational mind generates excuses, when Allah intends to protect you from harmful hearts, He doesn't always provide obvious signs. Instead, He makes maintaining the connection increasingly difficult. The energy feels misaligned. Their presence becomes draining. Your soul experiences discomfort in their vicinity. This discomfort isn't pettiness, it's protection. It's Allah quietly communicating, this bond is harming you more than benefiting you. Not every separation constitutes heartbreak. Some separations are mercy disguised as distance. Eventually, the issue transcends isolated comments or awkward moments. It becomes an undeniable pattern. Their mood consistently shifts when something positive occurs for you. They ask questions designed to diminish you. They celebrate everyone's success, except yours. You attempt to dismiss it initially, then repeatedly. But eventually, the excuses you manufacture no longer align with the reality you're experiencing. That's when understanding dawns. Allah never exposes hearts through single incidents. He reveals them through repetition. Jealousy manifested once is easily rationalized. Jealousy demonstrated consistently is Allah, instructing you to pay attention. You notice they're warm publicly but different in private settings. They speak highly of strangers while remaining silent when your name arises. Your good news invariably becomes something they attempt to minimize. It's not dramatic, explosive, or scandalous. It's slow, quiet, and consistent. That consistency is the sign. The Prophet said, "A believer is not stung from the same hole twice." Sahih Bukhari. Allah doesn't want you perpetually trusting patterns that consistently harm you. He allows behavior to repeat, not to damage family bonds, but to open your eyes. When someone is secretly troubled by blessings Allah gave you, their tongue will eventually reveal what their heart attempts to conceal. Sometimes Allah doesn't expose jealous relatives through words or behavior at all. Instead, He removes them through life's natural progression slowly, gently, in ways unrecognizable until much later. You secure employment that alters your schedule. You relocate. You marry. Your social circle shifts. Responsibilities increase. Priorities mature. Suddenly, without conflict, dramatic endings, or closure, you simply no longer occupy the same space in each other's lives. Initially, it feels strange. You question whether you're being cold, whether you should invest more effort. Guilt accompanies the growing distance. But with time, you notice something significant. The distance feels peaceful. Your heart feels lighter. Your mind achieves clarity. Your emotional energy isn't constantly depleting. That's when realization strikes. Allah didn't orchestrate this separation as punishment. He allowed life's rearrangement to protect you. Some relatives don't exit through arguments. They exit through changes Allah authored long before any harm occurred. A routine shift, a new chapter, an environmental change, schedule adjustments. A seemingly random relocation that was never random. Allah removes certain people quietly because the harm they carry isn't loud, it's subtle, unseen, unspoken. Allah protects you from imperceptible harm before protecting you from visible threats. Surah Nur reminds us, Allah knows and you do not know 24:19. This verse encapsulates these experiences perfectly. Allah comprehends the authentic reasons behind circumstances you cannot perceive. These separations appear as natural life transitions. Closer examination reveals divine redirections. Allah knows which hearts you trust and which you shouldn't. He will never allow someone to remain close if that proximity quietly damages your soul. There comes a point where the distance no longer originates from them. It comes from you. It's not from anger, ego, or a desire to sever ties, but because your heart finally reaches a state where pretense becomes impossible. The forced effort ceases. The explanations feel unnecessary. The guilt quiets. The version of you that persistently attempted repairs finally rests peacefully. This shift isn't coldness, it's clarity. Allah grants your heart a strength previously absent, strength that declares, I can still respect you. I can remain kind. But I won't chase a place in your life that Allah Himself is removing me from. This strength doesn't appear suddenly. It develops gradually. You stop feeling compelled to prove you're not their adversary. You stop apologizing for your blessings. You stop diminishing your happiness to accommodate their discomfort. You stop mentally replaying their comments for days. You begin feeling liberated not because the relationship healed, but because Allah healed your attachment to it. Surah Al-Fath declares, He is the one who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers 48-4. That tranquility, Sakina, is precisely what enables stepping back without bitterness, maintaining respectful ties without losing yourself, and moving forward without emotional baggage. Allah replaces guilt with peace, confusion with clarity, unhealthy attachment with self-respect. Gradually, you stop pursuing those who never desired your elevation and start honoring the space Allah is creating in your life. The moment your heart stops chasing those who don't wish you well is the moment you finally embrace the protection Allah was preparing all along. When reflecting on everything Allah guided you through, the signs, the heaviness, the repeated patterns, the quiet distancing, The strength he placed in your chest. It's tempting to conclude this journey was about the other person. But it wasn't. It was equally about you, about who you become during the distance, about what grows within you when Allah protects you from hearts that aren't pure toward you. Here's something crucial we often forget during hurt. Being protected doesn't make you superior. Maintaining distance doesn't elevate your status. Possessing blessings doesn't establish superiority. Arrogance is as spiritually dangerous as jealousy. Perhaps more so, the moment you think I'm above them. I'm chosen. I'm on a different level. You slip into the same spiritual trap you're being protected from. Allah removes people to protect your dignity, not inflate your ego. He creates distance to safeguard your heart, not provide justification for condescension. You don't know their struggles, their wounds, the tests shaping their behavior. You don't know how Allah might transform their heart tomorrow, therefore. Walk this path with humility, the kind that says, I'm grateful Allah protected me, and I ask Him to purify all our hearts. Conclusion, this entire journey was never about proving right or wrong. It was about Allah teaching you to choose peace, guard your heart, and trust Him even when people fail you. If this message reached your heart precisely when needed, leave a quiet prayer. Ya Allah, protect my heart from arrogance and jealousy. Someone might read it and whisper Ameen. Until then, value the peace Allah places in your life. Don't allow anyone, including yourself, to corrupt the heart. He's working to heal. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.